Hi, I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And welcome to Rediscover, a space where we engage in authentic conversation about life as we grow through it and whatever comes up along the way.
Nothing is off the table here. We talk about the real stuff, the hard stuff, the beautiful moments, and everything under the sun.
Around here, we're always rediscovering, sharing empowering stories, and connecting our hearts and minds with every facet of life.
We invite you to be part of the conversation as we broaden our perspectives, release limitations, and grow to create our most joyful and fulfilling lives together.
So grab a cup of something cozy as we rediscover all the best parts of you
and bring a little magic into your day.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jess.
Hi, I'm Kristen.
And welcome back to this month's episode of Rediscover.
Hello.
I'm feeling a lot better this month.
Agreed.
I think last episode, we really took some time to get into those raw emotions and to be really vulnerable and just kind of sit in it and acknowledge a lot of feelings. And ever since I did that, I feel like I've felt more clear and bounced back in many ways. And it feels good. It feels really good.
I also genuinely feel like that's the universe's like moment where they're like, okay, now we're going to do something, because I really think that like sitting with it, acknowledging it, and not just being like, it's fine, I'm fine, it's fine, I'm fine. Like, you have to speak it all into existence, acknowledge it all, sit with it all, commiserate with it all. And then the universe is like, okay, now we can move forward.
Yeah.
Now we can do the thing, because you have to just get it out sometimes. And I felt like that happened for both of us because we've had quite a turnaround.
We really have. It was a transformational conversation. It was uncomfortable at the time, but I think that's just my like internalized like suppression of emotion coming back out. And it's just nice to know that we're learning and we're moving through this sort of thing and processing, which is a huge win. So,
and I feel like I was less uncomfortable than you were, but I definitely
very uncomfortable.
knew that you were.
Yeah.
And listening back when I edited it, I was like, I know why she is, because I know you. And I know that when you have moments like that, you're like, ooh, I should not, like, you are somebody who really tries to like keep it kosher and keep, yourself very intentional when you speak and how you say things. And I tend to be a little looser and a little more like, I'm going to say what I'm thinking. And I've always admired your ability to do that, but I think we did get some raw Jess in that last episode.
Yeah. And is it a good thing, or is it actually a suppression and something to work through? I think like the more that I can open up like that, just not even just in a platform like this, but in general, I think it just aligns more to authenticity and reality. Because I can, like, when it's just you and me one-on-one, or anyone one-on-one, it's like full doors open. It's not always like that in public platforms or in, big open spaces like that. So I don't know. It felt good.
I am proud of you. And
Thanks.
I mean,
You
it
too.
doesn't necessarily have to be something good or bad. It can just be like, well, this is generally how I operate. And in this moment, I didn't. And that's okay too. You just needed to let some stuff out. And I'm sure you felt better afterwards. So
absolutely. So thank you guys for being here and holding a space for us last time and every time, because Rediscover is all about rediscovering. So
you never know what you're going to get.
You never know. So we have a few fun topics to talk about today.
Life updates.
Yeah, some life updates, some little insights. So I think we should just hop right in. And first things first, last time at the end of the episode, we set a little intention. And I think we should circle back to that.
Yeah, I think I don't remember exactly what we said, but something to the effect of like, Kristen's gonna find a job this month. I think I wanted like clarity and answers. And I think I'm still kind of working on getting those, even like at this present moment. But I did get a job, y'all.
Yay, it happened.
Thank you for sticking with me. For those of you who don't know, I lost my job in June of last year. Other than some part-time / seasonal / little bit here and there work, and pretty consistent like part-time work when I was in New York. But other than that, I had a full-time position since then. And as of the beginning of March, I got one, like literally a few days after we recorded Rediscover. I interviewed again with this company, and then a few days after that, found out that I got a job. So this past week was my first week. I am tired, but it's good. I think I'm mostly tired because the pollen in Florida is out and about and it is giving me a headache. But
That's
other than
fair.
that, I'm good. I do feel energized. I do feel a little more like myself again. I think not having a job or something to do consistently that's like outside of like my personal hobbies and my personal life is good. It's a good like separation of focus, if that makes sense, at least for me. And so being back into like the swing of that again has been good. Everyone's been really lovely and welcoming. I get to work with a good friend of mine, which is great because we've worked together before. We know we work together well. We get to work together again. So that's fun. And it's just kind of fun what I'm doing. Like it's not terribly high stakes, which is kind of nice and refreshing, and it's fun. And so I'm just still settling in, but it's a good time.
That's
So
the
yeah,
best update. I'm so
oh,
excited.
it's good. So if my voice sounds a little lower and more I'm thinking of the Mr. Oliver like smooth jazz radio announcer. Do you remember when he used to do that?
Yes, that's our high school math teacher.
That's our high school math teacher. That's a little blast from the past, but the allergens in Orlando are making me sound like Sweetums from the Muppets. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
If you
Well,
know, you know.
well, that is amazing news. And I just think it's crazy how last time we really went in there and then we set
Mhm.
this intention at the end, and here we are today. It's
It's
kind of
something
cool.
about you and me though. Like I do this with other people and it just doesn't, it might just be Jess, honestly. But there is something so powerful about when you and I sit down and we have a conversation about something and we like will it into happening. And it just happens. So I just think we just have to do this here.
The energy is potent with us. I mean,
It is.
think about all of the conversations, the single conversations, the relationship stuff we worked through, and now you're engaged to beautiful Anthony. Like it's just all beautiful. I'm
I
really
miss
happy for
you.
you. I'm so excited. I just like you were very clear. The energy was there. We like felt into it, and here we are today. So, next chapter, here it is.
I just heard Taylor Swift in the story of us. Next chapter.
Next chapter. Oh my God, classic.
Classic.
Oh man. Well,
Yay. Okay. Now you
that's
give us a life
great.
update.
Okay, life update for me. So we finished up our month in Morocco. If you haven't watched the YouTube vlogs yet, guys, they are so fun from this month
Highly recommend.
because did you watch them?
I haven't watched your Marrakesh one yet
Oh, that's the
because I have
best
had a
one.
very busy handful of days here, but it's in my list or my thing in YouTube, my saved for later playlist on YouTube.
Thank you
So
for
I'm,
watching them.
oh yeah,
It means so much.
I am a couch potato when I get home from work.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Well,
great.
the
So
Marrakesh
wholesome.
vlog, not to like go all into that, but that's like one of my favorite ones I think I've ever created. And I think it's so unique because
Aw.
a lot of people, we obviously know Morocco from Epcot. You know Morocco just, as a country of the world, but not a ton of people travel there. Like people do, but not all the time. So I feel like that was a really unique destination to be able to report back on. Um, so yeah, if you feel like watching a little vlog, check out the Morocco vlogs or any of them. They're really fun. And share them with your friends if you want. I'm having the most fun time making them. Like I cannot even express how joyful and fulfilled I feel when I make these vlogs. So I hope that shines through and that you enjoy them.
It feels very like old school Jess, and I love that. And you have
Yeah.
so many now. I'm like, when is she cranking all of these
Oh
out?
my gosh. I am crazy right now, but I am absolutely loving them. But anyways, so quick summary of Morocco, Marrakesh. After our last Rediscover episode, I really finally was able to settle into Marrakesh. I felt so much better and we had a lot of fun. We did a lot of excursions with Get Your Guide. We did a lot of exploring through the Medina and the marketplace and things like that. So it was a blast. And we were traveling with two of our friends, Zach and Sam. So that was really fun to just get to hang out with other people for the month. That is so
Yeah.
unique and special because usually it's just me and Steven and we'll see a friend here or there, but we got to actually like stay in an Airbnb all together in a riad in Morocco,
Ugh,
which is like so cool.
so fun.
Very fun. And I got my ring resized in Morocco so I can wear it now. I'm so happy.
Because the
I
last time we got on to record, she like her hand came up and she wasn't wearing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, Jess, what happened?
I know. Well, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like I never even knew like I'd have to get my ring resized internationally. Like that was never a
Right.
thought that crossed my mind of something I'd eventually have to do. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to mail it home. I'm gonna have to send it to the company or like have my
Mhm.
family help me or something. I had no idea, but we found an amazing place in Marrakesh. It was a very like upscale jewelry store. And I was just scared it was gonna be like, I don't know, a back alley type shop. And we did find one of those. And I was like, this is not the vibe. Like,
Right. I mean,
not
because
it.
you have those here too in the States, and you're like, I
Exactly.
wouldn't really probably take my engagement ring to get resized here.
Exactly. Because I knew of that exists in the States. I also know
Yes.
like a nice jewelry store exists in the States. So I was like, I hope they have, a good
The
option.
spectrum here as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And they resized it, very affordable price, seamless job. Like it looks phenomenal and it fits my
Yay.
fingers. So we're happy.
Yay.
And then two, we left Morocco. We did a little pit stop in Egypt, which I haven't posted about yet.
Yeah. Um, saw that on Steven's Instagram. I was like, wait a minute.
Yep. It was a 4-day little quick stint, just to kind of get to this side of Africa. And the timing worked out really great because of so many things, but it was an incredible experience, but it was a wild experience. Egypt is its own thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think that is the most like high intensity place I've ever been, but it was surreal to see the pyramids in person. Doing the camel ride near the pyramids was the literal highlight of the whole experience. It was incredible, but it's intense. Like you got people coming up to you constantly even when you're just trying to see the pyramids or walking down the street.
Really?
It's hands-on. So um
Like in what way?
You love podcasts, the stories, the laughs, the unexpected turns. But when this episode ends, the silence starts. Not anymore. Audiobooks.com turns that silence into your next great adventure. With over 450,000 titles, from bestsellers to hidden gems, your love for listening just found its new best friend. And because you already know the joy of audio, we're giving you 3 free audiobooks to start your journey. Imagine your favorite podcast, now with unlimited episodes. That's audiobooks.com. Keep the story going. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcast free today. Because for podcast lovers like you, the end of an episode is just the beginning. That's audiobooks.com/podcast FREE.
Can you elaborate?
yeah, absolutely. So it's not like I didn't feel scared or unsafe, but
Okay.
it's just constantly, do you want to buy this? Can I have some money?
Got it.
Basically those things over and over, which I understand
Got it.
that's how it is. I was thankful to be traveling with a man, just, for safety
You hate to
purposes.
say it,
I
but
hate to
it's
say it, but
true.
it's true. And I know that's a very lucky position to be in. I very much acknowledge that. But we don't usually get tour guides, and I don't know if we needed one per se, but we
Mhm.
did have a tour guide for a day and a half, per a someone's recommendation. We were at a cafe booking our flights to Cairo, and we overheard a girl talking about her trip to Cairo. And we were
Oh my
like,
gosh.
oh my God, this is so weird. Like, tell us about it. So we struck up a
Yeah.
conversation. Her name's Alina. She's from San Diego. Super nice, but she told us about the tour guide company that she went with, and they were amazing. So we were like, you know what? Let's do it for a day and a half. And it was wonderful. Like they just took care of
Mhm.
everything. I was transported back to my VIP tour days. Like I felt like it was just a seamless experience. So
Yeah.
that was definitely good. I can put the tour company name in the show notes. If anyone's going to Cairo, they're great. Yeah. And I think another thing I noticed too is they drive so crazy there, like out of the lines,
Uh-huh.
just centimeters away from each other, but it was so precise. So
Which
I didn't see one accident, which is crazy.
is wild.
Knock on wood, but it's almost impressive. It's so cool. And also it was the beginning of Ramadan, which we didn't plan at all. But
Oh,
that was really beautiful to be there for because at 6 o'clock when they have their breakfast or break fast,
break fast.
get it? All of these like fireworks would go off and like prayers were being said over the loudspeaker. Like it was so cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I wish we had more time at night to go, see what it's like. Cause I guess in Egypt, it's very different the way they celebrate Ramadan than other countries,
Oh,
which I didn't know, but it was our tour guides were telling us about it and they were very excited. So it
cool.
was a really cool experience. I want to do a full recap on that soon. I'm going to make a vlog of it. I filmed the whole thing. So
Yay. Oh, I'm excited for that one. Because that
yeah,
is cool. Like you're going to a lot of places most people, I'm not going to say most people we interact with, most Americans, most of the people we experience in our dailiness, like don't necessarily get to. I
yeah,
also just saw that your Marrakesh vlog is 36 minutes long, and I'm so excited because I love me a long feature length
yes.
vlog. Like I am a long form content person. I am old school. I do not care. You can keep all of your TikToks. I don't want it. It's too short. It's too like it makes me feel stressed out. Like I want to sit down on my
Yeah.
couch and like get a snack or some tea and like enjoy it. So I'm excited.
It's like a little like a TV show episode,
Yeah.
And that's what I like about it.
I'm going old school in my old age.
It's okay. That's why I feel like YouTube is just the place to be. I'm enjoying it. But anyways, so yeah, so that's pretty much Egypt. That was incredible. Yeah, you're right. I feel like this whole phase two has been very unique places and they're just gonna keep going. Like it's
Right. I know. It's just getting more unique.
I know. And my wildest dreams are just like blown out of the water. I just thought that this would be a cool thing if it ever happened. But I didn't think I'd actually like make
Mhm.
it to Africa ever.
Yeah.
For like
Right.
genuinely, I think I've been shocked the entire time that I've been here. So I don't know, just really excited and grateful and mind blown more than anything. Like it's shocking, but and speaking on that feeling, we're in Kenya right now. And that is
Woo.
the most surreal thing to me because obviously, like we've been exposed to so much African culture through, Disney
Disney.
on
Yeah.
that level between The Lion King, Animal Kingdom
Mhm.
Lodge, which I know is, going back to basics, but it's true. And it's like it makes you resonate with what you're seeing in person. I cannot
Yeah.
explain to you how accurate it is in the theme park.
That's so cool though.
It's so cool. And we're going on a safari tomorrow, so I can't speak to that yet, but I have heard that I feel like it's going to be amazing. But yeah, it's crazy. We did go to the draft center here in Nairobi, and the architecture at Animal Kingdom Lodge felt like that place.
Aw.
And it's obviously elevated here, like it feels more real, but
Yeah.
just to know, like to grow up with that and know those similarities and then to be in the actual place. I feel like I'm doing a Disney World tour. It's so cool.
Yeah. You kind of are. I know when I saw that picture of you guys in Egypt, I was like, this is Soren. This is just Soren.
Yeah.
The
That
Soren tour.
I mean, those are my bucket lists now is to go to all
Yeah.
the World Showcase countries and then the Soarin' locations too. So we're chipping away, but
Wait, haven't you been to all the World Showcase countries now?
just Norway, but it's on the docket. So I think by the
Oh.
end of phase two, we will have completed the goal, which is exciting. There's a lot of exciting things coming. So I'll continue to roll it out as we go.
As
But
you go. I think it's fun that way.
yeah,
But that's so exciting.
it's very exciting. So I'm just here for the ride at this point. I just feel so open. I think during phase one, I was still feeling a bit challenged in the
Mm.
sense of like, I wanted to, I was like thinking about two different lives. I was thinking about the life I was living and then the life of
Okay.
like kind of what we talked about last time, like the life of the standard path, you know,
Right.
and that obviously bled a little bit into phase 2 as well, especially even like last month. But again,
Mhm.
since that time, I feel like I've really pivoted and I feel so much more open and present now than I have in a while. And it's just like embracing what's in front of me instead of thinking
Mhm.
about what could be happening or what I should be
Yeah.
doing.
Well, and I'm sure the pace of where you just were didn't necessarily, like, not that it's a bad thing, but didn't necessarily help with that because when you're in an environment that's overstimulating and there's so much going on and there's tons of people and noise and chatter and traffic and all those things, like it does get to you. And so then it makes whatever you're dealing with that feels like it's below the surface kind of come to the surface and feel like erratic, if that
yeah,
makes sense.
totally. Because like in those situations, a lot of times when I did feel overstimulated with the noise and the chaos, it's like I just want to go sit in a cold, dark room with the
Mhm.
lights off, like
You like wanted
in
to
a
go back to
bed.
Finland.
Yeah, no, seriously. But it's
Yeah.
been really interesting here in Nairobi now. Our apartment, this is the most beautiful apartment we've stayed in. It's probably in like the top 2 or 3 ever, but
Wow.
it's incredible because the type of unit you can get here for what we are used to paying in other
Hmm.
places is it's like luxurious, and
Right.
there's these windows that just line the whole apartment. So there's natural light in here all the time. So I wake up,
Game changer.
I feel like there's just like this surge of energy in me every morning. I'm like, oh my God, it's a beautiful day. Like it's sunny every
Yeah.
day here. And there's greenery, which I probably haven't seen. I mean, couldn't see it in the Arctic, didn't see any in Morocco. So to see greenery again, it's doing something for me.
Girl, I know
You
there are
get
desert
that.
girlies in the world, but I can tell you the time in my life where I have felt the most like just constantly anxious is anytime I've ever been in the desert. Like my father was stationed in like Nevada, like near Las Vegas for a long time. We would go there and I would be like, I mean, I was already stressful because I was going there and I didn't like doing that. And I was already stressed, but like being just constantly surrounded by just like sand and nothing. I was like, I feel like I'm on Mars. Like there are just craters and sand and nothingness, like as far as you can see. And I mean, we're from an area where there's like rain and green, like spring, summer, and fall. There are so many colors and forests and evergreen trees that makes us feel at peace because it's what we know. And so when you're just planted into an environment that's like geographically different, but also like just all the plant life and everything you see around you is so drastically different. It's like jarring.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good opportunity to work on adaptability, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, I mean, but then you go back to the lush and the green and you're like, oh my God, I do feel at home. My earth
Yeah.
sign is thriving. But
And that's okay.
yeah, and I think that's the thing. I have learned, especially lately doing all of this travel, it's like I am really proud of myself when I can stretch myself and I can be flexible in
Mhm.
situations and I can adapt. But then it makes the things that I love and have like preference of so much sweeter. So I am
Mhm.
living in it. Like I'm just relishing in that feeling. So, and I think that is why there is polarity in life and the fact that there are like good or bad or hard and easy times or whatever. It's like when you get to those things that feel so sweet, they just feel sweeter because you've had that
Mhm.
opposite for so long. So, and there's always something to appreciate even in the things that you don't have total preference for.
Yeah.
I learned so much the past few months and I really did fall in love with Morocco and I loved Egypt. Like I've loved everywhere. Do I prefer different climates and different like things? Yeah, but I can find so much love and joy in those places too. So
Mhm.
I love that. I love opening my mind and realizing I don't have
Mhm.
to always have things be my way and perfect to have them be enjoyable.
And that's on growth.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
seriously.
Because I think of like 18-year-old me going out to the desert to see my dad and stay there and how I just was like, I hate this. I hate it. I hate it. And I just couldn't open myself up because I had so much that was closing me off before I even got off the plane. And now, you know, circumstances being different and like us being older and everything, I think it's cool to see like you doing that, because I think I saw that a little bit in each of us. Like we were very much like, we go to Disney World and we do these things, and like these are our surroundings and this is what we do, because we didn't realize at the time that it was like what was safe and familiar. But yeah, I think Anthony's really good at that too. So I really enjoying surrounding myself with people who are challenging me to stretch in that way, because what you just said made me feel very seen, like being able to adapt and like relinquish control and sort of just be like, it's okay that this is not familiar. It's okay that like this is not what you expected. Like it's still a valuable experience. And that's on growth.
Absolutely. I know. I think the fulfillment on the other side of doing the thing that scares you or feels uncomfortable, like I feel so much more confident in myself and my actions and my decisions in life. And because I think when I would stay in those smaller bubbles, I wouldn't feel that bravery to like trudge through. And now it's like, oh, this is actually not that scary. It's not that hard, because once you're in the moment and you're present, you just take one thing at a time and you just do what you have to do. That's the thing, is things will happen at home and things will happen on the road. So it's like what you're scared of is like trying to protect you from this thing that could happen while you're gone. But that same thing could happen while you're home too. Maybe in just a different context. So yes, Stephen as well. He is like, not even help me directly, but just like setting the example of being open in the space of uncertainty and like taking on these new situations and places and whatever. I'm really thankful to be with someone who has that approach to life, because it means we're always going to keep growing together forever. Like truly, there's no stagnation there. Like we'll always keep expanding, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, same. Yeah. And I definitely think I needed that. And I definitely think that's something that was so meant to happen. Like I was meant to find someone who, and you, I'm assuming, feel the same way about Stephen.
Yeah.
Who like sets that example that makes you curious, because you see an openness in them that you desire to also have. And you're like, I wonder what it would feel like to approach life in this way. And when you sort of spend more and more time with somebody, you start to take on some of their characteristics. It's just not human nature. And then you find yourself doing that more and more. And then you realize it was in you the whole time. You just needed somebody to like help bring it out of you, which is so cool. And that's why I think our generation's approach to partnership is so healthy, because it's not like I have to find someone to procreate with. It's like, no, I have to find someone who brings out the best in me and challenges the areas that I want to grow and evolve.
Yeah. Oh,
so cool.
I love that so much.
Yay.
Speaking of love, I think we have an update in the wedding realm as well.
We're so good at segues this episode.
I know. It's just, well, because I know we have some great points today. Like this is a good episode for some like update points.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways. On the love side of things. I guess it's like wedding planning updates. I was going to say with Kristen, but soon with Jess too. Yes, our wedding planning process is definitely well underway. I had a great chat with our mutual friend about florals this week. And I feel really, really, really good about that. We are like so entirely aligned. I feel like she is pulling like visions out of my brain, and it is so cool. She hasn't put together like our proposal yet or anything. We haven't like settled on like price yet or anything. Y'all, wedding planning is so expensive. I like dry heave a little bit when I'm thinking about how much money we're spending on a single day. Which you don't have to do. You really don't. So I'm trying really hard to have that perspective and like check myself before I make a decision. Like, do I need to do this? Am I doing this because I want to do it, or am I doing this because it's like what you're supposed to do? You know what I mean? So just constantly having that filter available to just put over the lens, look through it that way again, and be discerning in that way has been helpful. But yeah, it's also just been very good to catch up with her. And I want to give her my money. You know what I mean? Like
So
these are
cool.
very, very expensive decisions. And I want to give my money to somebody who I trust and respect and know and can count on, like, and just who I like, you know what I mean? I just I'm very much a word of mouth recommendations girly. Again, I know that's
Yes.
kind of school, but like because Buffalo is a small city and a lot of people know a lot of people, especially like, you know, whether it's the restaurant industry or the wedding industry, like she was able to give me a couple word of mouth recommendations about photographers that I might look into and things like that. And everyone I've talked to has like been like, oh, you might like this and whatever. And it's helped me to kind of build a portfolio of people I'm looking into for things. But I am so excited about the flowers. I have like I am such a flowers girl. I just can't wait to like get into that because it's just so like whimsical and feminine and colorful and I'm so excited. But that aside, I also got to do the like full on go wedding dress shopping experience last week. My mom and my sister visited and we went on 2 different days. The one day my friend Bonnie was able to come with us, and then the other day it was just me, my mom, and my sister. And the second day I found my dress. So that's been very exciting.
It's perfect, guys. I saw it and my reaction was, oh, of course this is it.
Her reaction was so like low key.
I was like, of
She was
course.
like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is the vision. It's so beautiful. I'm shook.
Which we can't say any more about anything because
That's it.
Anthony listens to Rediscover religiously, and I love him for that, but I don't want him to know anything. All he needs to know is I found a dress and I love it, and we are all in agreement that he will love it too, because
He will love it.
here's the thing, y'all. There are some things people don't really talk about when it comes to wedding dress shopping, and I want to briefly touch on them. But first of all, yes, found a dress. I honestly was shocked. I found it on the second day of looking. I don't know what I expected. I don't think I expected to love as many as I did. I expected to like go to my first appointment and be like, I didn't really find anything that like popped out at me. I had the opposite problem. And every single time I left a store or like a day ended, I was like torn between two, which because I'm a Gemini should not surprise me at all. Why did I not foresee this? Of course, I'm torn between two that are lovely for different reasons. Like here we are. And so, and it wasn't frustrating. It was a good problem to have. And in the moment, I was able to acknowledge that. It was just like, what do we do? So after the first day, I had like thought I found it. And then I had a couple of other appointments scheduled for later in the week on the same day. Don't do more than 2 in a day is my advice. It is an overwhelming experience and it is an emotional experience. We did one in the morning. We had a gap so we could go to lunch and like sit and chat, and then another in the afternoon, both days. And that was perfect. So after the first day was over, I was like, I don't know. I think this is my dress. I had made an appointment to come back on Friday and to try it on again just to like see. And then we also had 2 actual like new place appointments scheduled on Friday. And I ended up canceling one because my sister and I were going through their stuff. Like, we don't think we're going to find anything at this one that we haven't already seen. But the other one had a lot of other like designers and things we hadn't seen. So we kept that appointment. So that was like Friday morning. We go to this place. We have an entirely great experience. The girl that helped us, I guess I can say where it is. It's called Lily's Bridal. It's in Orlando. If you're an Orlando girly, honestly, everywhere we went was great, but this one was like standout. She was so approachable, but professional. She was the only one who didn't stand in the dressing room with me while I was like stripping down, which I don't really care. I've been a performer. I'm pretty body positive. Like, I don't really care. You got all the same bits that I do, so it's not a big deal. But you were like braless. You're basically naked, and they'll like turn to the side. But like peripherally, I can see you seeing me. You know what I mean? So I was like, I bet some girls would have a problem with this. I didn't, but I made that like mental note. This place, she stood outside and just like held her hand out, like, hand me the dress once you're out of it, you know, that kind of thing. And it was like, let me know when you're in it and I'll come in and zip you and hook you and all that stuff. And I was like, that's very professional. That's something that they weren't doing at the other places. So she was so just, I don't know, just genuine, down to earth, but also very professional. And this was the only place where when we went and I introduced myself, you know, they asked, where are you getting married? When? What are you envisioning? All those things. She was like, do you guys want to like look at some of the dresses and maybe pull a couple of your own pics before I pull mine? And we were like, okay. So then we got to actually go and like look through some of the dresses kind of in the area where they had the silhouettes I was looking at and stuff like that, which was fun. Like I could tell Mom and Sarah were having fun, like looking through them and picking things and stuff. And my Sarah, I always say that, my sister had picked a couple, and it was just exciting for them to like, be part of it in more of a, like a hands-on way. Then at the end of that appointment, I had found something really beautiful. And then I also had the one at the place from the previous day that I was still hung up on. So I was once again between two dresses. So we went back to that place. I tried that one on again, like right after, to get like not an immediate side by side because we had to go to a different store, but like tried on one dress at one place, tried on the other one at the other place. Then we went to lunch and we kind of decompressed, and I was feeling very overwhelmed. And I like asked Anthony to call me in the middle of his workday. And I was like, I'm so frustrated because I can't tell you anything. But I was like, I need to feel like you're part of this somehow. And he's like, what do you need? He's like, just, it's how you feel. Like, don't think about anything else. It's just how you feel. I was like, that is not helpful. He's like, well, what would be helpful? I'm like, I don't know. And I'm trying to articulate this thing that I like don't know. And it's so silly because even in the moment, I'm like, it's a dress. It's just a dress. Like, it's not a big deal, but it is. And I also didn't want to diminish what a big deal it was and make myself like silly about it. So I was like, I guess I just like want to know what you're picturing. Like he was so adamant about not telling me. He's like, I try really hard not to picture it because I want to be so surprised. And I was like, can you just like give me like a feeling or something? And he used several words and a couple of them stood out at me, but I think he said something to the effect of like timeless and like elegant. He's like, I just see you. Like, I literally just see your face when I picture it. I don't picture a dress. Like I really don't. Like, I just see your face and I see you smiling at me and that's all. And like, I guess that's really nice.
Ever tried reading while jogging, cooking, or even juggling flaming torches? Yeah, it doesn't end well. But with audiobooks.com, you can conquer books without the circus act. Dive into over 450,000 titles, including more than 10,000 free ones. Get hooked on a bestseller, find your next obsession, or finally read that classic you've been avoiding since high school. And here's the inside scoop. Sign up today for a free 30-day trial and snag your first 3 audiobooks on the house. Sign up for your free trial at audiobooks.com/podcastfree today. That's audiobooks.com/podcastfree.
So then I go like back and we're walking and whatnot. And my mom and my sister had been so reserved with their opinions. My sister has an incredible poker face. I don't know where she got that from, but she's just like giving me nothing. Like she would react to a dress she thought was beautiful. But other than that, she was like, I'm not saying anything. This is your dress. And I'm like, okay. So finally I got them to like tell me how they felt, and they were leaning towards the dress that I was leaning towards. And I was like, I just wish I knew what Anthony thought. And my sister was like, we both think he'd like this one better. And I was like, okay, tell me why. And they told me, and it was kind of exactly like they were kind of just saying out loud what I was already thinking. So it just felt like we were all aligned. I had the phone conversation with Anthony, and then we're walking, and my mom's like, okay, so what are we doing? And I was like, we're going back to Lily's. And she was like, okay. So we went back later in the day. I tried it on one more time. We put the veil on, we did the whole thing. And I was like, okay, I literally have no notes. This is it. And they did the silly little, like, are you saying yes to the dress? Which I thought they only did on the show, but apparently like actual stores will do that. I was like, yeah. Anyway, okay.
I do have a question.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I have a question. So the dress that you ended up going with, is that one that you, your mom, or Sarah picked out, or was it one of the store recommendations?
So it was one that my mom saw when we were initially looking, but I don't think she picked it because initially there was an element that I won't mention about it that I didn't think that I wanted. And
Mm.
then it wasn't even one of the initial picks that Savannah, she was our stylist who was helping us, picked. It was one like the second round of picks that she pulled as kind of like a, let's just see about this one. Like maybe a palette cleanser, maybe like we'll just see if we like it or if we don't. And I will say that that is another piece of advice I have. If this were a YouTube video, it would be like Kristen's wedding dress tip number 2, a little pop-up thingy, you know? Don't close yourself off initially on silhouette or style or detailing or whatever you think that you want. Don't close yourself off. These stylists do this for a living. They know what they're doing. Like every single place I went to, although this one was my favorite, they knew what they were doing. And be willing to try on the ringer, like the palette cleanser dress, the coffee bean dress, like put it on, because you will know instantly, like, huh, I didn't consider this, but now I kind of am. Or you will be like, instantly no. Like there were maybe one or two I tried on that I was like, we don't even need to show them this. I know that I don't like it. So what's the point of going out there? But be open to that, because this was one, it wasn't necessarily supposed to be like a ringer or a coffee bean dress, but it was like a departure from the ones we were trying. And I put it on and was like, oh, this is giving me the like wow factor that these other ones weren't necessarily giving me. And it might just be like a personal wow factor or just a general wow factor, depending on the type of dress you're looking for. But like that one gave me pause. And I was like, okay, this one's different. This one has immediately moved in my brain to like contender. And you'll know what those are. And I also think that like if you are between two, trying them on one right after the other, like say you loved the first dress you tried on and then you try on 5 more and then you love one more. After you try that one on, put the first dress back on again, because seeing them side by side will help you. If some of it is just comparison, and that's a thing that people don't talk about, that I really wasn't expecting and I was a little blindsided about, because the only barometer we really have for what this experience is like is what we see on TV. The famous show Say Yes to the Dress. I know the UK has a version. There's like 3 different versions of the show, maybe more. It is in some ways a realistic depiction. Like some moments I was like, oh yeah, I've definitely seen this before. And some things absolutely not. Like that it is also a logic thing and an emotional thing. And maybe someone makes a decision about their dress just purely based on emotion. But I had this moment where I was being super logical about this, like more than I expected to be. And my sister kind of pulled me aside and she was like, Kristen, I think you're waiting for like the TV moment. I think you're waiting to burst into tears and be like, this is it. This is the one. And she was like, that's just not who you are. You've always just had sort of like a quiet knowing about things. She didn't say it like that, but she was like, I got what she meant. She was like, if you love a dress and you have no notes about it and you can picture yourself walking down the aisle in it, then that's your dress. And she wasn't saying it to rush me along. She was saying it because she knew I was feeling overwhelmed. And I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. And so she had this moment where she was like, Kristen, do you want to be alone for a minute? Like, do you want us to walk away so you can just like stand and look at yourself in the mirror, like quietly by yourself? So I sort of like had that moment like in the dressing room for myself. But that's something that I've never really seen before, because they do televise like the most emotional moments, the most volatile people, the giant entourage or the overly opinionated mother and all of these like dramatic things, but it's really not that dramatic. I was being super logical and comparing things. So if you put like 2 on, one right after the other, you are kind of comparing like, okay, I liked this about this and I liked this about this. But I finally got to the point where I was like, I literally don't dislike anything. In fact, I love everything. The couple of little concerns that I had were things that can be changed. When you order this dress, the designer makes it for you. So if there's a color thing you want to change or like a detail thing you want to change, you want to add or subtract, say you want like sleeves or say you want, you know what I mean? Like all of those things are usually changeable. So there's literally no reason like not to choose it at that point, you know? And I had a moment, and I told Jess this earlier, when I took off the dress that I ended up picking and I had to hand it out of like the curtain in the dressing room to give it back to the stylist. I was holding it in my hand and I was like, I don't want to give this dress back. And that was like kind of when I knew that that was the dress, but it wasn't this over the top moment, right? It was just like, oh, that's a feeling I haven't felt about anything else. And there's so many parallels to finding your person, right? That was exactly how Anthony's proposal went and how we got engaged. Like, it wasn't dramatic. There weren't fireworks. There weren't photographers in the bushes. And that's fine. Like, again, if that's the way you get engaged, my friend Carly just got engaged. It was like a whole thing. They had a videographer there. Like, he went all out for this proposal and she loved it. And that is who she is. And I love that for her. But for me, it was just like, we're having a picnic. And he just quietly pulls out a ring box, gets on one knee on the picnic blanket, and asks me to marry him. And literally, I had the same reaction, like internally, that Jess had when she saw the picture of my dress. Like, oh, yeah, duh. Like, it's just so, it's like that quiet knowing that I know we've talked about before, but it was the same thing. It was like, well, yeah, I don't want to give this back. So, of course, it's mine. And that is literally all that like agreeing to spend your life with somebody is. Do you want to be with them or not? If the answer is yes, then the answer is yes. So there's so many parallels, I think, to just that moment and finding your person and stuff that I was able to draw throughout the experience. But I think like taking those little breaks to like get your head on straight. And it sounds so silly because I'm making it sound like this is like a rigorous experience. And it's not. It's super fun. It's super fun. It is like the most fun. If you are a girl's girl and you have dreamed, if you've been like me and you've been like pinning wedding dresses forever and watching those shows, like it was a dream come true. But it's also very emotional and overwhelming and kind of overstimulating. At the end of the day, you could go into every wedding dress store in the country and try on every dress that they have, but you could also date everyone in the country and, you know, try on every person that there is. You could be endlessly doom scrolling through a dating app trying to find the perfect person. But at the end of the day, if it makes you feel good, if it makes you feel like you will know. And that goes for the dress and the person. So I definitely enjoyed like just being the person that I am, drawing those parallels and feeling that same like quiet contentment. And that was really what this dress ended up being. So yeah, I would say also having a small entourage. I had 3 people the first day. I would not have more than that. It's just, and they were really good about keeping opinions to themselves and things, but it's just too many voices that aren't your own. I honestly had a moment where I was like, I get why some of those girls on that show go wedding dress shopping by themselves. Like, I get it. Because it can be overwhelming. But yeah, that was the experience. And I'm sad that it's over because trying on wedding dresses is so much fun. It's the first time in my life and most people's lives, like I've gotten to try on like such a fancy, incredible dress. I mean, I got to wear cool things at Disney, but like I wasn't me. So I had this moment where I was like, oh, I get to be me now. And it was cool. And it was also very much a way to measure my growth in how far I've come with my own body image, because I was expecting not to like the way certain silhouettes looked on my body because I've been very self-conscious about specifically the lower half of my body for most of my adult life. But I didn't feel that way. I just felt like excited and curious and surprised. But yeah, it was really just overall great. There were some moments where I was like, I just need a minute. But overall, it was a really great experience. And specifically that last day when I actually found my dress, the experience we had at Lily's was top notch. And we ended up having the store to ourselves for most of the appointment because we went on a weekday, which if you feel self-conscious about people watching you might be something to consider because, or if you just, you know, feel overwhelmed in general. I think they're less busy. Most bridal stores are less busy on weekdays. So if you're able to swing it to go on a weekday, I would recommend it. Those are my tips and insights.
I love hearing the experience and the story. There is a lot of growth in there for sure. I'm very just happy to hear that. And I like the aspect of the quiet knowing. I think that's like my biggest takeaway of hearing this story is just you resonating with it and you knowing it. I think that's really cool. And it's the perfect dress. I'm so excited about it. I had to look at it twice.
She did. I'm so excited. And honestly, I had this moment the second time I put it on. I was like looking in the mirror and I was like trying to like picture like Anthony seeing it. And I know like he doesn't care what he was like, he goes, an oversized hefty bag will do.
Oh my
Like,
God.
he just 0% cares. And it's so beautiful. And honestly, just mind boggling to think that like somebody could love me that much. And I'm not gonna cry. Yes, I am. Um, but I did have this moment where I was kind of thinking about it and I was like, it's not really about the dress, but I just want it to be beautiful for somebody who makes me feel beautiful. And I think that that's the best part about all this is when somebody makes you feel so good about who you are inside and out, you want to be beautiful for them and you want them to feel like I'm giving myself to you, you know? And I just want to look like the most amazing gift he's ever seen in his life. And that's okay. Like maybe there's some vanity in that. And maybe, I don't know. I don't really know like how to feel about that. I'm honestly just processing this out loud right now. But I just want to be beautiful for him because he deserves it. And I've never met anybody so kind and just special to me. So I'm excited.
It's so perfect. And
So
truly, you are beautiful no matter what you wear. Hence his hefty bag comment. You would rock that. But this wedding dress, I think, is so special. I knew that you were going to pick something so you. And that's the whole thing about it. That is why it makes so much sense. You're gonna glow. You're gonna be the most beautiful bride ever. And I think that's the best compliment because like when I got my ring, I think you said this, but a lot of people have actually said like that ring is so you. And I'm like, that is the only compliment that matters to me because when it comes down to it, it's about the authenticity and it's about just being who you are. And that's enough. Like you don't have to twist yourself into a pretzel to be this ideal of anything. You can just be, and that beauty is just there. And I think that's just wonderful. And this whole experience is so special. And I love to have this recorded in this real time. I think that is such a treasure to know that, 5, 10 years into your marriage or into old age, we will have this conversation.
I know.
And I think that's really special.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely not about the ring or the dress. It's about the person wearing the ring or the dress. And like your ring is such an extension of you. Like it just, I looked at it and was like, of course that's your ring. Like it looks like you. And I really think that when, if you're somebody who's getting married and haven't gone wedding dress shopping, or maybe you're in the middle of it right now, the dress that makes you feel like you and feels like an extension of you. There were so many elements of me that I saw in it. Like I literally said, like, I feel like this dress fell out of the sky.
Yeah, there's some
Explain
details that are just so Kristen that we can't share, but it's just
Yeah.
like, how is this detail incorporated so perfectly?
Right, right. And even like as much as they were so good about like poker facing it, like when I came out the first time in this dress, even my sister had a reaction and I like one that I could see and know. And it was just, it's very cool. It is your decision to make, but when it's people you care about so much and who've known you and loved you literally your whole life, like my mom, it was so special to see that like she was feeling the same thing I was in that moment. And it's not just like, oh, she also thinks it's pretty. It's like, no, she knows me well enough to see me in this and know that it's me, you know? And so that was just really special and very surreal. I just loved it. It was, I like want to put it back on. I don't want to wait to wear it again. But I'm so excited. And I will say that moment, that experience, like it makes the whole thing seem so much more real. And now I'm like, okay, here we go. Like that was the decision and the like wedding. I don't even want to call it like a wedding to do because it was so amazing. Like I didn't want it to be over, but that made it feel like, okay, this is really happening. And now starting to think about all the other details playing off of that and like it all just being like one cohesive thing is very fun. So
Yay.
Yay. It
So
happened.
exciting. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I feel
Yeah.
like that was such a lovely, light, and joyful note to end on for today.
Yeah.
And we'll see what updates we come with, next time around. But thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. This was a very joyful episode, like
It
truly,
really was.
truly polar opposite of last time, but also so beautiful just the same. So
It really was.
I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed spending this time with all of you.
And what a perfect episode to welcome in spring. We're always so right on the seasonal themes without
That's so
even realizing.
true.
We're so attuned to the seasons now.
That's so true.
Thank you guys so much for being here for like our more melancholy moments, our more reflective moments, and also like for our joy and all the travel updates and the wedding updates and the life updates and all those things are so fun to share just because they're fun to share, but also like you were saying, because they are these little markers of time and growth and it's so special
Rediscovery.
and rediscovery. And it's so special that we have this. Yeah, I'm very thankful.
Me too. I just feel grateful all the time for all of it. So
Yay.
thank you guys so much. Thank you, Kristen. And
Thanks, Jess.
you're welcome. Just happy to be here. So we will talk to you guys next month.
It's gonna be
Ooh.
my
Oh my God, the year is flying, but
It
we'll,
is.
we'll talk to you guys next time. I'm so excited to see what else unfolds, but again, just enjoying every single day of the journey. It's such a gift to experience it all. So I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And we'll talk to you next time.
Bye. Ooh, that was a good one.
Outro, take 1.
Thank you for joining us. Oh, hold on.
Outro, take 2.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of Rediscover.
If you haven't already subscribed, hit that button and join the Rediscover fam.
Come back on the first Tuesday of every month for brand new episodes.
If you're like us and you have opinions about everything, leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. Your positivity inspires our creativity, and we love hearing from you.
Follow us on Instagram at JessicaFaye508 and positively.Kristen.
And check out Jess's blog at theroadjesstraveled with 1l.com.
Until next time, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye!